Welcome back to the show. Now, there have been many shocking cases of elder abuse by the very people we trust to take care of them in the news lately. And that can make the process of moving a family member into aged care even more overwhelming. So who is looking after our loved ones and how can we be sure that they're safe? Well, Michael Maher from the Aged Care Development Network is here to tell us more. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Do facilities find aged care workers, and is there some sort of a process of accrediting them?
Yes and no. There is for a lot of facilities it is placing an ad on Career One or Seek. The first 5 people who walk through the door with an Cert 3 in aged care and a pulse get a job. That's not how it's meant to be though. And the majority of people who work in aged care are there for the right reason and they do a great job at it. They work for a wage that most of us would not get out of bed for.
$18 an hour, that's a
and the
wage.
constraints put upon them, the time constraints of working with each person, so many people in an hour, are amazing. They do a great job. The problem is there isn't an accreditation system. There is no way in which an employer looking for staff, be it an aged care provider or you looking for someone to come into your home for mum and dad, can actually find a verified record of their employment, education and compliance history. There is no accreditation.
Wow. Now, of course, we've seen horror aged care stories in the past. A nurse set fire to a Sydney nursing home, killing 11 people, and then another nurse lethally injected 2 patients with insulin, and a third nurse tried to suffocate a bedridden man. These are horrendous. They're surely exceptions, but how can you stop crimes like these?
The majority of people are there for the right reasons and do an amazing job. There are 350,000 people working in the sector and hundreds of thousands of users of aged, community and disability services. So the amount of people who come out, you've named a couple of examples there, but they're so rare. They are horrific, but they're rare. But there isn't a system to track. So Roger Dean, he maintained his nurse registration, but he'd actually been terminated from his previous employers because they suspected he was a drug addict and had mental health issues. But that wasn't reported anywhere. So when he next applied for a job, he conveniently left that off the CV, and he got the job. And he said, I'll take on the night duty that no one wants because it gets individual access to the drug cabinet.
If and Roger Dean is the man who set fire to the nursing home, killing
he burnt down
people.
Quakers Hill, yes.
Jeez.
With, I mean, what we're talking about and what we're hearing, it just strikes fear in the heart of so many people because their loved ones are in aged care at the moment.
Yes.
How can you reassure them that they're being taken care of properly? And if they're not, what do we need to do?
There's a group among the industry who feel that we need a workforce accreditation process. Similar, not a government registration system as much, more like a CPA, Engineers Australia, Law Society, by the industry, for the industry. The government has been asked about this for a number of years. Will they increase the powers of the Australian Health Practitioners Registration Agency, APRA, to cover aged care workers? And they said no. Will they build another one? No. So now it's up to the industry to do it, so that there's a place that you can actually track people's compliance, education, employment history. The best way for a family member though is to use a placement agent. They're amazing people who know all the facilities in their geographical area and they know the rates, the reputation, etc. They can even help you negotiate.
Where do you find them?
Online.
Okay.
An aged care placements agent. And they know their work and they'll help you even negotiate the bond.
So you say with the workers needing to be accredited and verified, how would that change the system and how would you go about implementing that?
There's 2 key challenges in workforce, in aged care, workforce challenges. Firstly, aged care workers don't know what they don't know. And secondly, there's no mechanism for aged care providers to share information between providers. Therefore, on the first, if there was more framework through accreditation put around the workers, that the industry's expectations that you must maintain your registration, you must maintain your qualifications, you must upskill. I think they'd have more of an idea because currently they don't know. On the information sharing aspect, if there was an accreditation platform, they'd have a framework or a mechanism to share information between providers.
It's like a centralised system, computer system almost.
So you can lower, number one, lower risk about people who should not be in the industry.
So is the government dragging its heels, do you think, on accreditation?
They've been asked about it for a number of years, Peter, and they still haven't come up with an answer. Though there is a Senate inquiry into aged care right now, including workforce management issues. In fact, there's a lunchtime I'm going to after this, a strategy session with a number of large providers, including the Minister for Aged Care, Ken Wyatt, on these very issues.
What's their issue with it? Why not? What's making them hesitate?
Cost.
Speaking of cost, it's really interesting to see, aged care is super expensive, yet the people who are actually doing the work, my aunt is an aged care worker, they're doing the hard slog, they're changing bedpans, looking after elderly people. They're getting paid as little as $18 an hour. Do we need to bump up the base rate? Because it seems like the very people who are doing all the hard work, aren't being properly remunerated for it.
Until now, the entire service was paid for by the government. But now there's a bronze, silver, gold versions, and the government only wants to pay for bronze. So they're not telling the public that. They're pushing it back onto the providers to have the discussion. If you want silver or gold for mum, you're paying for it. So it's an uncomfortable conversation, and the providers aren't made to have those conversations because they've never had to do it.
It seems like aged care should be the least controversial issue in society. We're all heading in the same direction.
And
if
a
we're
lot
lucky
more
enough.
of us now. Our society's ageing fast. This will become a bigger and bigger issue over the next few years. This is
Something like
huge.
25% of Australians will be aged over 60 in the next 20 years, which is pretty scary. We must as well point out that this does not apply to all aged care workers. There are some brilliant people out there. The majority of people are brilliant people who are doing a wonderful job on not a lot of money.
Yeah.
We've got this great piece of feedback as well to share with you. It's from our Facebook page. It's from Nettie Wallace. She writes, "Hi guys, I've worked in aged care for 30 years and I treat the residents with the utmost respect and as they are my own family. And please don't judge every nurse in aged care as the same as the ones that are making a bad name for them. It is hard when you are short-staffed and you have over 30 residents to look after at once, with them all having different needs and different conditions from different cultures on minimal wages." And we have to say, the vast majority are doing a wonderful job. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.